course. What did I sign up for? Okay. Thank you for being willing to do this. I appreciate it so much.
Thank you for being willing to do this.
So what are you planning for?
So I am moving from a classroom teacher role to an elementary RTG position at a new school. So one of my big plans or goals is to figure out what the school culture is right now and how I can best support teachers, especially in that first teacher prep week and September when things are crazy and they're overwhelmed and I don't have name tags to make. So seeing where I can help them and then start to build the trust and rapport.
So you're planning for the fall and considering both a new role and a new school and new school culture as well.
Yes. I'm excited to see the strengths that they already have and how I can add my own personal flair to it.
Yeah. Start to learn the school and kind of learn your place within and how to enhance.
Absolutely.
So as you consider this new role and wanting to be a value add for the building, what might be a goal that you have moving forward?
I think a goal that I have, a specific goal would be to have at least one teacher per grade level that I feel like I can co-plan with or collaborate at a certain level. I think that's an achievable goal at the beginning, the first couple of weeks. We'll see. But I think that would be a stepping point to start and then move forward as I go.
So one manageable goal you feel like you have at the beginning is to identify your first followers at each grade level.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And as far as I know, there is one cluster per grade level. So I will be working with that teacher throughout the year. And then from that teacher, I would hopefully be able to then build more capacity at the grade level for students that aren't identified yet, or how they can stretch their learners thinking that don't have the identification of gifted, but we all know that every kid can be critical and creative.
So finding that first follower, you might leverage that to start to spread your messaging and spread your work to other people at the grade level.
Hopefully.
Mm-hmm. How will you know, how might you know that you've had success in tapping these first followers? How will you know they're following?
Mm-hmm. I think one way I'll know is if they invite me to a meeting or even into their classroom, especially that first month. Having them reach out would be a pretty good indicator that they are willing and excited to work with me instead of me just being in the meeting. That will be a good indication. And then I think after that, if more teachers ask me for help or feedback or me to just take over the class for 10 minutes, whatever, just having more teachers reach out would show me that they can trust or are trying to.
So teachers initiating the content, the contact will reinforce that your followers are following. As you think about building that trust with teachers at your new building, what might be some strategies that you're considering?
I think an easy one is for me to be around. So not staying in my room, not closing the door, walking around and introducing myself to people, which can be hard, especially if there are so many established relationships, of course, at all schools, but being present and attending meetings, forcing myself into places so I don't get, forgotten off the docket or whatever. So being present around the school community. I think another strategy that I'm thinking around is sending an all staff email to introduce myself and maybe give my cell phone number, text me, call me, whatever, to show that I'm open and excited to be there.
So being visible is going to be really important to you as you start this new work.
Yes, definitely.
What else?
I think another strategy will be the students, of course. I'm focusing a lot on the teachers in this conversation, but I will have between 50 and 60 kids that are on my caseload. So reaching out to them, building relationships with them, and maybe that will also improve some relationships with teachers that I don't hook in right at the beginning. So even if a teacher isn't necessarily willing to co-plan or co-teach yet, I still will have to service those students. So maybe from the student level, building a relationship with that teacher of trust and that I'm there to help, that might help.
So maybe your work with students and building that trust with students will translate into some heightened trust with teachers too. It's like, walking alongside, like I'm in this with you.
Mm-hmm.
The teachers will see the value.
Absolutely.
When you've built trusting relationships in the past, what are some things you've leaned on to do that?
I think a lot of what I have built at my current school is a lot of professional knowledge. I like to arm myself with all of the latest research, listen to all the podcasts. So if anyone asks for a recommendation or a question, then I have that information. I have worn the consultant hat a lot in that situation, especially at my current school. But at a new school, I'm going to have to not do that and be more guide on the side. So switching my mindset, switching my pattern of behavior is going to be a challenge, but that will help build relationships at the new school.
So in the past, you've leaned on heightened craftsmanship and perhaps worn that consultant hat.
Mm-hmm.
In a new role, maybe wearing that coach hat more so might be a nice way to build some trust.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I think also making time for people has helped me in my current role to build trust. Always having the door open, having a bunch of people always in and out, and always taking the time to talk to them, even if the kids are screaming in the hallway. And if I don't have time to talk to them, scheduling a quick time that we can have those conversations that my colleagues need. I think that has always helped build relationships too.
So making yourself available to staff or letting them know a time in the future when you can be available has supported relationships.
Definitely.
You've spoken already about a lot of internal traits that you have that support your work. As you think about taking that to a new school, something you want to be mindful of in yourself?
I think I get anxious in these situations. So being able to give myself wait time and monitor my own inner temperature and bringing that to any meeting or situation, so that I can be more of a observer for a while and see what is already there and then be able to impact it in my own way. So kind of controlling my own anxieties, overcoming that initial fear of talking to new people and just building that.
You're going to give yourself some grace and space next year.
I will. I promise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've talked about a lot of things. Been really forthcoming. I appreciate that so much. Where are you now in your thinking compared to when we started the conversation?
I feel like I have more of a plan for what to do that first week, to be visible, to approach people that I don't know yet, and be comfortable in the uncomfortable. Try to calm that worry of being uncomfortable and not knowing. But Greg will be there, and that will help make me feel comfortable. My best friend will also be there. So relying on those people when I do feel uncomfortable will be helpful. So I think the conversation, the goals, the strategies, and then knowing I have a safety net of those two is also very helpful.
So you feel like you've got a little bit more of a plan, or at least some things to kind of focus on: being visible, being present.
Mm-hmm.
And you recognize there's some interdependence already there, even though it's a new building, because there's some people there want you to be successful too.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, but don't go anywhere quite yet. Thank you. Just stop this.